Hi, I'm Mike Gunzelman. I'm Ingram Micro's technology consultant for analytics. So let's talk about the elephant in the room with analytics. Why is my performance so poor? And I have jobs that run 4 or 5 hours, some of them run 2 and 3 days, and we've kind of just accepted that as normal today. Problem is, you really don't have to tolerate that kind of performance any longer. If you're using a traditional data warehouse, you're really limited to a sequential kind of view of the world and processing. But if you were to convert that over to a parallel type of warehouse, you're going to get greater performance. So way back in 2000, Netezza came out with one of the first multi-parallel processing architectures out there. And they were able to show 10 to 20 times improvement in performance for complex workloads. Turn around in 2010, IBM purchased Netezza. And in 2016, they upgraded the performance of the system by another 4 times. So we can now practically get 40 to 50 times better performance than what you're used to. And in good cases where you want to do a little tuning and tweaking, you can get anywhere between 100 and 200 times better performance. So let's talk about some of the considerations you might have. So realistically, you're probably going to keep your standard system for all your regular reports and things that you have thousands of people accessing at one time. And you'll have a PureData for analytics, or what we used to call the Netezza box, over here for your complex workloads. And the first thing people think of is, well, that's going to be a little too much. We had to spend 2 to 3 months just assembling all the components when we built our first one, integrating all the software, getting things to actually all work and function properly. The good story with PDA is that we have a completely one-piece appliance. So when you get it, all the hardware is there, all the software is installed, all the integration's been done. So literally, an IBM technician comes out, plugs the box in, turns it on, configures it to work with your network, and it can be up and running in 2 to 3 days, easily. Other things that people worry about is, well, we had to spend a lot of time modeling and tuning and setting up the environment just before we could use it, and that was probably another 3 or 4 months of intensive work. Today with Netezza, none of that's required. It's essentially a load and go environment. Yes, you can tune it to specific behaviors, but it's not an absolute requirement. On the other side, people spend a lot of time addressing performance in their warehouses, and they're constantly tuning and tweaking the box to make sure that it's on performance. And we still need to do a minimal amount of that with the PDA box, but it's only probably an hour to 2 a day rather than a constant behavior. The other big thing is that when you look at the SMB marketplace, most people think that they couldn't even afford such a solution, that it's going to be well beyond their grasp. So to address that, we've got a nice 4U unit that holds 16 terabytes of data, that when you looked at it and say price it against Microsoft's competitive product line, we would be 40% cheaper initially, and considerably less expensive because we don't have to be managed and monitored as much as traditional products do. And at the same time, we're going to give you drastically better performance without having to buy any new components out of the box. So realistically, it's very practical to have your existing system and a Netezza alongside it so that you can have the best of both worlds. So now, you've got a potential solution for a customer, and the first thing they're probably going to say is, that's not possible. I don't believe it. Prove it to me. And the good answer is that that's how IBM sells this box. You provide their proof of concept team with a lead. They qualify it, and if they determine that this is a good opportunity for us, we can compete here and perform well, they will actually send a device out to the client site, set it all up, configure it, load their data into the appliance, and give them access to that machine for, say, 30 to 60 days. And this is all done at no charge to the customer or the partner. And up front, we've decided what the criterion is for success. So if we can do these 5 particular things in our proof of concept, the customer now agrees to buy the box. And the good answer is that 85 to 90% of the time, those boxes stay where they went first. And if not, IBM will take it back and we will just call it even. So you've got a real convincing way to sell the appliance, because some people just don't believe it can do what it can do. And we prove it on a regular basis. So if you're interested, now you're probably wondering how we get started. The good story is that we have an entire team at Ingram around IBM software. So an onboard and recruit team to get you started, get you familiar with the processes, the systems that are in place, all the paperwork, all those necessary items. We also have dedicated field marketing person to help you with developing opportunities, as well as a field force and an internal dedicated sales force for when you become proficient and you're no longer a recruit identified person in Ingram. And at the same time, I'm available as a pre-sales resource for anything that involves analytics, in particular the PDA. So I'm available to help with opportunities, do discovery, interact with clients, whether you want to do that on the phone, on the web, or in person. So help you get started with your first few sales opportunities, and we can transition to the partner doing more work down the road. So if you're interested, we'll put up a list of contacts so you can let people know if you're interested in the solution or if you'd like to learn a little bit more about IBM software. Thanks. Have a good day.